Hey guys, Prism here from Prism and Smiffy. I'm joined with Smiffy again. Say hello.
Hello.
Hello. So we're here today to follow up from our video before on the Redeemed Citadel now that it's been out and people have been playing it. And we're going to give our opinions on it because I don't think we're impressed. Let's put it that way. So, Smiffy, you've been playing it more than me. How are you finding it?
Well, I'm currently up to about 24,000 favors at the moment, and I find the grind for it very, very tedious. I mean, one of the biggest things that we did say was we were aiming for towards hopefully playing something with brand new content rather than playing the same thing over and over and over.
Yeah, and I think on that part they failed on that in terms of delivering new content because yes, in one aspect it is new content, but in another aspect it's just another giant grind fest. And the fact that, like we'll get onto a bit later, that there is paywalling in this, um, takes away from me the fact that this game you could get anything you want in this game by saving the in-game currency. I suppose it is still possible because you can transfer AD to Zen to buy the Reforger's Blessings, but to me it's just a giant paywall. That is just another massive grind on top of the grind to get the favors. But
Exactly.
first of all, we'll start off with what we currently think of the campaign. So, what's your thoughts and feelings on how it actually works?
Don't get me wrong, the campaign itself, I find is actually okay. As in, the way that you can get the favors as well as the rewards you can earn, yeah, it's sustainable. I will agree with that. But the way now that they've allowed, for example, the heroic encounters to be able to give you more than what the actual new content is going to give you, you've basically allowed, well, they've basically allowed the fact that you can get the favors from doing the old content quicker than you can get it from doing the actual new content that they're trying to release, which has made the entire point of the new content completely pointless because no one's going to do it anymore if you can get favors from doing the old content faster, which is
Yeah,
what's
so
happened.
if I'm right in saying, doesn't it give you like 3 quests to give you, is it 60 favors or something? Or is it less than that?
So you can get 3 quests from um, the board in the Bleeding Citadel, which will roughly give you about 140 or 150 favors for doing all 3 quests per go. But now the fact that they've released information out that you can do the big heroic encounter, the Ascension, and get roughly between 100 to 150 favors per completion. And now people, it's just another siege fest again. When they originally released Avernus, and everyone was just farming either the ape or siege heroic encounters, it's gone back to that again, which has made it completely pointless.
I mean, I totally agree with that in terms of, again, it's just another giant grind fest in the game. And the fact that new content was promised. And I'm not saying they haven't delivered new content because the way they've done this campaign is different and it is something they've never done before, especially with the milestones. But the
Well,
fact
all I
that.
will say is, sorry to interrupt you there,
Yes,
John, but
okay.
what I will say is we are still at early doors. We're at early stages of the new content already, but as for an opening content release that they've done, I think it's done really badly. I mean, milestone 2, maybe 3 or 4, we're in to see the lures as well as the hunts. So that could be completely different for us, and that could actually work out better in the long term for new content. But as meant to be like, here, have a piece of content, enjoy it, is not the case at all. They've literally just given us a part of the shit, and we're gonna let you sturge on that until we do give you the new content, which is I find is completely the opposite way of what you would want to do in the first place.
Yeah. And the thing that really bothers me with this content at the moment is the fact that if you don't hit the end of the milestone, if you don't hit your cap by the end of the milestone ending, then you can't progress it anymore unless you pay for it.
I think you can progress it, but you have to,
You have to buy the Reforger's Blessing.
yeah, but it will be your personal reward is locked. If I think I'm correct on this one. I believe that once it hits milestone 2, you can't go any further with your personal rewards beforehand.
Yeah, so when
So
milestone 2 happens, and say you've only got 20,000 favors in milestone 1, you can't do any more on milestone 1 because they'll start clocking your favors up for milestone 2 unless you purchase the Reforger's Blessing, which again is another paywall that they've put in,
yeah,
especially for players who don't play as much as other players. So if you've got someone who's a casual player that maybe spends an hour or two every couple of days in the game, they're not going to hit 28,000. I mean, milestone 2, if we just jump to the forum a second, because there was a post that I read earlier on, and let me just find it a second. It was under here. I think it was under general discussion. This one here. So this is someone put Redeemed Citadel is not paid to win. But he has included here, will complete a milestone win, trigger milestone 2 right away. So this has come from Julia, who's Nita Chris on the forums. The next milestone will not begin until the previous one is completed. Release dates for next milestones are simply the earliest the next milestone can start. Once the previous milestone is completed, the next one will begin if it's after the release date. Currently, the plan is to release the episodes on the following date. Please note these dates are subject to change. So episode 2 will be coming out on September the 15th. But then if we go to this one here, who says, where's 2? It's a little bit further up. Does buying the Reforger's Blessing pack allow players to farm at their own pace? If you're not sure you'll be able to complete the goals in time, a Reforger's Blessing will be available in the Zen market, so pay, that allows the bearer to earn personal progress at their own pace even after a milestone ends. So
once
that's
again, pay to win this time.
another pay to win thing. Now, I'm not saying that it's not pay to win in terms of buying the Reforger's Blessing, because as mentioned before, you can convert AD to Zen, and you could do it that way. So there is a way that you can do it in game. But to build up enough AD to transfer into Zen, and then obviously you've got that giant wait time on the Zen,
Exactly.
you're not going to get your Zen in time to be able to do this. So at the
Exactly.
moment, this is pay to win,
So I've personally
or pay
tried
to
to.
complete.
I've personally now put in 2.25 million Astral Diamonds. I think it was on the day of release for this to get 2 of the unlocks for Reforger's Blessing. And I'm not going to get it for at least a month due to the backlog of Zen to AD exchange. So if now any of these previous milestones don't allow me to buy the Reforger's Blessing after it's finished, so, for example, we're on milestone 3, and I finally get my Zen, and if I can't buy the Reforger's Blessing for number 2 and 1, that's completely rendered my time useless and proven that it is fully paid to win. But I'm unsure if you can or can't.
Yeah, because number one, we wouldn't have known how much Zen the Reforger's Blessing would have been anyway, so to preempt this, you wouldn't have been able to do it. Because you wouldn't know how much AD you'd have to have saved up to try and convert to Zen, and you're talking a month beforehand anyway trying to do that.
Exactly.
It's just, it wouldn't have been possible. So, in this retrospect, I don't agree with that post where it says it's not pay to win. Because clearly, if you can't get all the favours or you want these extra things at the bottom, you have to buy it. There's no other way.
Yeah. I mean, it is a full on money scheme here on the side of Cryptic, and I don't understand what's gone through their head to make them think about doing it this way in the first place. When they considering they know that they've had a reputation for everyone to turn around and say they're pay to win, when they've been trying to fight against the argument to say no, they're not. It's pay to progress, just like everyone else is trying to stick up for them and say. But they're proving themselves wrong. They're destroying a reputation for themselves by doing this in the first place. So I don't know what's going through the developers' minds when they're thinking that this is a good idea when it's really not.
Yeah, because even the weekly challenges, that's just a copy of K Team.
I mean,
Same thing that happened with K Team.
the only thing I will say is the items that you're getting from the unlock Refuge's blessing is purely cosmetic, really. none of them are going to be good enough to be best in slot from the Reforger's Blessing side. So if you are into your cosmetic items as well as fashion or vanity
Well,
pets,
aren't there companion gear and rings in there?
you, I believe it's not in the bottom section. I believe it's that's in your personal progress.
I'm sure the rings are in the
Because
bottom section.
no, the ring is the top right one, and there in the personal progress, you get
Okay,
a 1100 item level ring from the top right.
okay.
No, it's not. I tell a lie. That's the actual diamond box.
Yeah,
But
I'm sure the rings and the companion gear are both
let me just
paywalled.
have a look. Let me just have a look. They could be paywalled, but then I know when Zariel Normal's released, the loot drops are the rings, so it's not technically paywalled. It's only if you want them early is paywalled.
Yeah.
But bear me a second to go in game and check this.
Okay. Well, while we're waiting for that, we'll carry on with the other bits as well. So, like I was saying, the weekly challenges. Yes, there's different things inside the weekly challenges that you've got to do. But it's a copy of other things within the game. So, for
Yeah.
argument's sake, doing the hardcore version, that's just K Team again, and K Team is Acquisitions Incorporated. So
I
each week,
agree with what they're doing with the K team though, because K team died off completely,
yeah, but
and
nobody does Acquisitions Incorporated anyway because the gear that you get from it now is so pointless. I mean, I
very true.
remember when I did do Acquisitions Incorporated and completed the campaign, the only reason I did K Team was for the boots, and that was before Mod 16, I think. Yeah, it was
Mm,
yeah,
something
it
like
was before Mod 16 because Mod 16 was undermounting, wasn't it?
yeah,
So Mod 15 would have been Acquisitions Incorporated.
yeah, pretty much.
So that was like one of the worst mods in history for them.
When so after checking in the game, yes, you are correct in saying that the rings are all paywalled, as well as other objects as well are paywalled to do with that Reforger's Blessing within it. I mean, after checking Milestone 4, you can get free companion equipment packs. You can even get the leggings as well as the shirt, which are 1100. The blessed garments of the herald. So yeah, you're correct. I mean, the only thing that the other milestones are doing for the top section is the reagents to be able to level up the new weapons to legendary.
And we'll talk about them in a second.
Yeah,
But the final bit on this campaign now is the Azamar race. Again, that is, to me,
completely paywalled.
completely paywalled and a massive scam. Because, first of all, you've got to hit the caps on all 4 milestones,
As well
and
as unlock
you've got to have the Reforger's Blessing.
exactly before you can even unlock it.
And the race isn't even that good. The bonuses on that race, like, it'd be nice to have one of them in your party, someone with the Azamar race, but the Metallic Dragonborn and the regular Dragonborn just completely outweigh it anyway.
We'll need to cut that last bit out, John, because it's not capped on milestones. It's literally just the blessings. You only have to have all 4 blessings.
Okay.
You don't need to cap the milestones for it. Just reading it now. To unlock the Azamar as a playable race, you must purchase a complete Reforger's Blessing bundle or purchase a Reforger's Blessing for each milestone individually. Oh, hold on. Claim more personal rewards from. Yeah, you're right, it is. Claim more personal rewards. Fucking hell. I didn't read that part.
Yep. It's completely paywalled, and this is the thing that, like, it's sort of grinding me as well. So the fact that, like, I won't edit this bit out now.
Okay.
People can see this. Like, I really don't mind because this is the thing that I think a lot of people are having problems with. The fact that this
Okay.
campaign is so shitely put together that people don't understand exactly what they got to do for certain things. But the bottom line comes down to it is that you're going to have to pay for something. If you want to finish the campaign entirety and have everything from this campaign, you got to pay.
Yeah. To
And that's the
cut a
bottom
long
line to
story.
it. To cut a long story short, you got to pay money.
Cut a long story short, it is. They're basically asking for your money if you want to get the extra. bits on there to probably make your gameplay a bit more enjoyable.
Yeah. And as I was saying just now, the Azamar race themselves are not even that good. I mean, I think it's something like 1% more health for everyone in your party, and 1% outgoing damage and outgoing healing.
So it has
Which,
the same stats as a human, but then the celestial superiority, your damage dealt, outgoing healing, and incoming healing, and maximum hit points are increased by 1%, and then you take 1% less damage from all sources. So it's 1% for everything. It's big whoop.
yeah, 1%
Dragonborn
is
is
nothing in this game.
Dragonborn is still overpowering that.
Yeah, by far.
So why would anyone want the Azamar race in the first place? Just for collection purposes or making your character look like a city color?
Yeah, that's all it is, cosmetics. And
Exactly.
I think that it's just a really bad thing that they've done. I mean, I was excited for it before, as you've seen in the other video. If you check our other video out, you'll see that both of us were very excited for this campaign, thinking it's going to be something different, something good, something fun to do. But no, the only fun thing about it is having these weekly challenges. And you can do them within an hour of logging in. You get one hardcore dungeon, one regular dungeon, and then one like quest thing you got to do, which I think at the moment is open 5 treasure maps or kill 20 demons or devils or something.
200 demons.
200, sorry, yeah. So, like that's not that difficult. If you just run around the demon area, they're in packs of 5 or 6 at a time.
Won't take you very long at all.
Yeah, so
Which
you're
they could have made that
talking
part a bit more challenging.
you're talking like 40 packs of mobs, and you finish that, or just go and open 5 treasure maps, which at the moment everybody has got a shit ton of them now.
Yeah.
Because
I mean,
nobody's been far. Like, people who've got the Legion Guard stuff now have got it.
the only thing I can't agree about with them is yes, the new content wise, the weekly challenges are great, but they should have done daily challenges as well, rather than giving you favors from mobs, just purely giving you favors from mobs. I also believe that bringing back the K Team hardcore dungeons was a revival of them because that's something that's been needed to be put back in for a good while, where no one's been touching them and it was just a false piece of content to the game because no one bothered with them because there was no rewards from it. I mean, what was the only things you can really get? A Deathless Tom, you get a cape. A Deathless Fireborg, you get like a banner. You don't really get anything else from any other dungeon. So what was really the point in doing the hardcore dungeons until now, where they've said, well, one of the challenges to get a load of favors was to do hardcore dungeons, which is that's a good point from their behalf. But the way now everyone's just sat there and went, well, screw it, I'm just gonna go farm Ascension. Well, that's taking everything away now. It's destroyed the entire milestone one.
That's it. Nobody's going to do the blue quests. People will do the weekly challenges just because they do give a good amount. But apart from that, it's just going to be farming the heroic encounters again.
Exactly, and it was just a case of what's the point? Which I do hope for the next milestone they do bring out the lures for that point and then something new for 3 and 4. If it ends up having to go back, then once again the whole risk that we talked about in the last video that they said they're going to be taking, they've just completely done fucked themselves. I mean, I've seen many players turn around and say they're leaving the game now for a while, breaking and coming back in the future, but it can't keep happening like this. If you want to make a sustainable game where the player base is still high in the game, you've got to be trying to please everyone rather than just giving them a pointless grind. And that's just purely not just my opinion, but many other people's opinion. There's not much that we can do now with the whole smashing release of a content. It's pointless.
Yeah. And that's the thing, like, if we go on to what is on offered in this campaign at the moment, the weapons, they're only a little bit of a step up to Legion Guard. They're not as good as the Lionheart ones.
See, this is where I'm going to agree to disagree. For people purely built on crit severity builds, these weapons will do you a massive favor compared to Lionheart. but purely on crit severity builds. If you're a power build, if you're a critical strike build, etc., these weapons are going to be absolutely useless to you. But for a build like mine, for Osiris, where I base myself off as much crit as I can possible, um, the base damage on these weapons are going to be higher than the Lionheart. So that brings down technically the percentage of extra damage it's going to do for the Lionheart. But then I do believe the extra 10% crit severity or the extra action point gain will either bring my speed to do my dailies faster, which technically gives me more damage, or the crit severity will do more damage. So, do I believe it's going to be a little bit better for those crit severity builds? Yes, it will be better for a Lionheart, but for anyone else who doesn't vouch on crit severity, it'll be completely useless to stick to either going for your Celestial weapons or your Lionheart weapons. But that's just my personal opinion on the new weapons. It's purely based off crit builds. That's
Yeah,
it.
because the thing on that is the chance of the critical severity proc in is 50%. Because you either get the action point one or you get the crit severity one.
And then it's 10% chance on that.
And then there's a 10% chance on, like a 10% additive percentage that you get.
Yeah,
Or
but once again,
it's 10% for
me,
crit severity and 7.5% for AP, isn't it?
yep. But once again, for like a great weapon fighter, my build is purely on crit severity to do more damage. And then at the same time, me doing my daily quicker is going to be a huge help towards damage output. So that's going to, either way, even if I get that 10% to do either side of it, it's going to be helpful for the damage output compared to, say, a Gwith losing stamina and depleting that 10% down to gain damage resistance still takes away from your damage output. And yeah, that's the reason why I would say that these weapons have the power there to make it better than Lionheart's. But once again, it's a whole case of just
Yeah, I
testing.
think it's just, it needs testing. But
It will
again,
do.
this is another thing now where you can't fully upgrade the weapons until December. Because you need to have all the
Exactly.
reagents from all the milestones.
Exactly.
So you're sort of stuck in there where you've got these weapons that you could use, but you can't, and no one can test them until you get all the reagents. Which,
But
if we
there's
look
nothing to
back
say that
here,
they
the fourth one is November the 10th. So you're looking beginning of December before you can fully upgrade them.
exactly. But once again, it's a case of stats can change within the game by that point. We don't know what will happen with these weapons.
No, but then
And
another thing on top of what we talked about earlier on is the reagents are rewards from doing your personal progress. So if
exactly,
you've
which
got
many
people that
people.
can't finish the personal progress because they're busy with real life, 28,000 is a lot to do. And like,
Yeah,
you've been doing it now for a couple of hours for the last couple of days, like grinding it, not all day, but you've been doing it for quite a long time.
I've
And
been
you
spending probably
yourself,
about 5 hours a day over 4 days just to get to 22,500, I believe.
yeah,
I
so you've
mean,
still
trying to
got
get
another
into an
day or two
instance.
left.
Yeah, trying to get into an instance is almost impossible. I mean, the first day, server progress went to 25%. Every other day now, we're up to say, what, nearly a week in, and we're only at 40, 45, 49%. So we're not even halfway to doing the server progress yet, and it's been almost a week for it already, which makes it. And that's with people grinding out these big heroic encounters all day, every day, which is actually speeding up the progress rather than if they were going to be doing the free quests. So I don't know what they're thinking with. Um, they may have thought they've had a lot more people on the server. I don't know, but they could have. They've just gone and destroyed everything. It, I'm very, very disappointed of what they've come along and done now.
Yeah, this is disappointing content to the point where at the moment I'm sort of not done with the game because I never will be done, but I'm taking a break. I
Which a
don't
lot of
want,
other people will be doing.
yeah, I don't want to be sat there hours in a day killing the same thing over and over to get a currency for things that I'm not really even going to use.
Exactly. That's the main point of it all. It's it's exactly. A lot of people are now taking breaks and moving over to different games like Elder Scrolls Online, Final Fantasy 14, Fantasy Star Online, anything. It's no one. People are now leaving the main base game purely because they promised this new content, which would be great, and they failed to deliver on their first opening. If you can't make a good first impression, how are you going to try and keep your player base within the game? And this is why I believe that they're actually doing wrong.
Yeah.
Number two, number three, number four could be absolutely fantastic. It could be
I mean, I'm
mind blowing.
interested in seeing the hunt things, because what's going to be the rewards from the hunts? We don't know.
Exactly, we don't know, but once again, it's a case of
And
they've
that's
done.
another thing. They've released that pack on the Zen store to you to buy the hunt lures and things like that, which I got a feeling is going to be a bit like Chult, where you have to have the 1 star, 2 stars, and 3 stars. I don't know how it'll work for this, but a similar sort of system to get bigger and better, like boss mobs to fight, to get
Mhm,
better drops, etc. But
yep.
my thing on that is, again, it's another recycled idea. So yeah, it just feels to me like it's another copy of the hunts that were in Chult. It's the same thing over again. Like that, I don't know for certain because we're not at that point yet to have the hunts, but it just feels like it's going to be the same thing. So at the moment, we've got the weekly challenge that's being copied from K Team for the hardcore version. We've got hunts coming back, which are going to be a copy from Chult.
Yep.
All we need now is fucking fishing from Somi.
If they were to bring back another form of fishing, mate, I think yeah, I'd probably quit the game for good.
Because, like, as you mentioned, there's plenty of players starting to leave the game because they are literally saying, fuck this content. This is not content I want to play.
Just Cryptic, if you are out there and listening, simply just do something new, like a form of making your own home. Like an idea like giving yourself a new home. So I can create my own barracks somewhere where I put in like statues, trophies, carpets, an edible home, editable home, not edible,
Yeah, player
edible.
housing. What's wrong with
Yeah,
player housing? We got the workshops at the moment. Why can't we decorate our own workshops?
use workshops in a form of our own business slash home.
Yeah,
Anything along that route. That kind of content helps the player base find something new to try and enjoy. The
yeah,
fact that you're sat there and you've had all this time to plan and work out what you're going to do, you're telling me your only outcome is a new look and a copy of over something that you've previously done.
yep,
That's pure fucking laziness.
yeah,
Get off your chairs, look at what the player base want, and actually try to do something new for once rather than you trying to reuse old content. Because there's only a certain amount of times before you can reuse new content, well, old content, to the point where you won't have a game left. And that is not how a business should structurally run itself.
no, exactly. And as you know, player base is dwindling. People are leaving the game, and people are leaving the game now because of this. People are not happy with what it is, especially the paywalling element that they've put on this. But yeah, that's, to be honest, there's nothing really else we can say on it at the moment, other than now just watch the space and see what happens as we go on.
I can say is this, Neverwinter. If you purely want a business to run well, then form your whole business plan around your custom. Because if you don't, they aren't going to return and you will lose your business. And for the guys over at Cryptic, you've all got jobs to develop all this. I'm sure you don't want to be out of this job because of the whole fact that you've basically just failed the game. When it is got great potential, you are destroying this game for what it should and will be. And that's my only advice to you. If you ever want ideas or information, holler me and press them up. But if you're not willing to listen, you ain't gonna have a product there to sustain your business. So all I will say is good luck to you on that part. but I hope you come around to something actually new for once.
And we will try and end it on a high note. It is confirmed that obviously the top 100 people are going to be on the leaderboard, sorry, for Milestone 1. We'll get a unique visual to a Vorpal rank 9 enchantment. Obviously, you can upgrade it to 14. It's just a normal Vorpal enchantment, so we'll do the same as the Vorpal enchantment that we got at the moment. It just has a different appearance, and when you hit, it does something different. So this is the little animation. Now, we were sort of discussing this before about what this meant, but this is basically what the Vorpal enchantment will do when you hit an enemy with it. And that
Exactly.
is the unique visual. That's the unique reward that you get when you're one of the top 100 players in Milestone 1. Milestone 2, we don't know. Same as 3 and 4.
Exactly, and I think we should leave it there now and see what we're gonna come back and say next week when the maybe new milestones begun, and
Yeah.
we'll all have another discussion
Well,
about it.
when the next milestone comes out, which will be around the middle of September, we'll give it a week, see how it goes, and then we'll upload another video. In the meantime, we will be posting other videos out through the course. I do have, as promised by one of our followers who asked. Let me just find that person. It was under. It was either this one or this one. I can't remember for certain. Aris Dyson. She did ask for a healer IC POV because she just started Soul Weaver. I have done that video. It is edited. I just haven't uploaded it. That will be coming out this week sometime. And I will do some of the videos as well as we go on. But yeah, big shout out to people commenting and leaving us messages. Yeah, we do read them all. Well, I read them all and then pass them to Smiffy as well, so he knows them all. So yeah, thanks for the support at the moment. That's all I can say. We've got up to 114 subscribers. We have no issue at all with people seeing any of this because you
Definitely
guys are
not.
helping us do this. But yeah, keep subbing, keep liking our videos, and cheers for watching.
See you on the next one, guys.